晚上好，大家！现在我们有 Frostbite League 的新加坡对 Sydney 的对啊，大家好，你
大
们
家好，
大家好，我是 Coco，
我
我的朋
是味道。
友是你好，你
Anyways，
好，
你好，你好，你最近好吗
嗯，是
？Anyways, welcome everybody to the final match, Singapore versus Sydney. This match, the stakes are incredibly high.
the stakes are incredibly high, and not even just for these teams. This match has other teams rooting for the teams in this match. It's crazy.
It's actually wild. So, just to give you guys the quick rundown of how this is going to go. If Sydney wins, it means Sydney and Manila will progress to the top cut and the finals, which I believe will be next week starting. And if Singapore wins, it means Singapore and Auckland will make it to the finals. So the stakes are incredibly high. We have a crazy tie situation going on, which gets decided by this match, essentially.
Yeah. We have basically the other teams are rooting for one another in this game because their top three spot really depends on it. When we set the teams, we didn't think this was going to be that close, but holy shit! You know,
It has panned out to be quite a competitive league, which you can't hope for anything better, to be honest.
yeah.
But
So yeah,
yeah, on the roster of Sydney, we're very familiar with these fellas now. Hoping to see some more action with the Mars Link duo. They've been putting in absolute crazy
they're
amounts
putting
of
in the
work for
work.
Sydney. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we can't forget Lumi as well. Lumi is in insane support for them. He really matches their pace, and he
Yeah,
kind of holds team together
cooler
with his
spammer.
paint cooler. Yeah, man. Oh,
Yeah, I think this recent patch and this new meta that's kind of evolved from that has been really beneficial for Sydney because the cooler just really helps them maintain their really fast pace of
for sure. And, now, we can contrast that with sort of Singapore here. If we can just get the trend up on screen. Singapore has actual backline player, unlike Sydney here, right? Uh, as we saw in the past, we actually had college playing Wiper and Stamper as opposed to some more traditional backline fixes. But with Singapore, you actually have Poetry, who is a backline main that can flex to mini. Right?
mm,
And all around now, Singapore is actually also really aggressive. They have Loose Goose and Amateur. Amateur is a skirmisher, Tetra and Wiper. And you have Loose Goose, who's renowned for his carbon solar. And you also have Puma and Liam, who are also not to be forgotten. Puma, when he's on support, he's crazy. When he's playing a Slayer role, he's also crazy. You also have Liam, plays Machine, also another great support. And you have Ardino, the demon, the squeezer demon
specimen,
himself.
bro.
Specimen.
This guy's
He a
insane.
whole machine, man. Yeah.
Absolutely. Interested to see the rosters that we have playing from both teams, actually. I think this will be a very, very close match. But let's take a look at this week's maps. It is the same maps as the set earlier this evening, the week 4 maps. We're starting off at Clamblitz Museum.
Right, yeah. So, I think, well, what do you think about the Canvas Museum this time, Michael? Especially between these two teams, yeah.
I mean, both these teams, I'm expecting to just see some classic ballpoint action. Ballpoint's broken on this map. I'm expecting to see a few crabs. I'm hoping that we get some, possibly a Tetra flank. I know you're a big fan of that, Coco.
Oh yeah, I'm a Tetra player myself, so it's very, very good.
But I think that's what we're gonna have to see, and how they can abuse top mid to really get their push started. Big feature of the map.
Yeah, so I think it'll be very interesting to see how Sydney is going to be able to play around having to fight Ardino. Usually you see they have actually more short-range comps, but I think if we saw from previous games, you have MGJ running it down with the rest with his amazing Kraken skills. So I guess
the
that's
96
that is one
demon,
way,
bro.
right? The 96
Absolutely.
demon, yeah.
And you know,
And
Cyclone for the E-leader pick to drop right.
we
Gotta
can
respect
hope
it.
and pray. I do want to just say for especially on Singapore's side though, having Carbon Roller will definitely be a menace for this map. Sitting on that spinner area in your plat, oh, that's gonna be tough to kind of fight. Yeah. So,
Oops, my Wi-Fi dropped out. Classic
new
moment, but we back.
Xavier, what do you actually think? What do you think Singapore might pick? Yeah.
I really hope Singapore brings out the Carbon. I think Carbon's. If you don't
Like
make
honestly,
sure you keep the Carbon under control, it's an absolute menace. It's a demon.
yeah. And we do actually see, even though chat can't see it right now, we have on this side of Sydney, we have Lumi, Link, Kodge, and Mars. Oh, wow, the alliteration goes crazy. And on the side of Singapore, we have Poetry and Puma, and Liam and Loose Goose. Oh my God! Wait, the alliteration is
got
crazy.
the alliteration gang coming out. Getting into this match shortly. You know, these teams readying up. I think the stakes are incredibly high for both these teams. They both want to win this set so bad. So I'm hoping we get to see some incredible gameplay tonight. Man, Coke, I'm gonna be honest, I'm nervous.
I'm nervous, bro. I'm not even playing. My ass is biting my nails. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. My sides are weak, bro. This set got me nervous.
I'm so nervous. This is gonna be
I'm chattering like a cartoon character. Ooh.
Oh, damn. No, it's going to be so important for these teams to be able to get this first win so that to get themselves on the board and force the other team into their counter picks early. Because, you know, a lot of these sets, especially when they're close, they can go to these game sevens where, like, you know, you really want to have the counter pick advantage in those close, in those last few moments in a set. Yeah, we're getting underway shortly.
Yeah. We'll be getting underway shortly. I do think that this first game is definitely going to be interesting. It'll set the tone for us, and yeah.
Absolutely. Interested to see what comes out from both teams. You know, there's been a lot of flexibility within the scene recently with the meta shifts and stuff, so it's kind of hard to predict what they're going to pull out. But we're going to see.
Did you see the Tetras come out? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to get the Carbon.
So we do see Mars immediately going for the right drop here, and this could actually give Singapore and kind of early push into mid if they can capitalize off of Mars push here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the overhead, we do see Poetry getting picked off, and yeah, Singapore starts to move up here. Link, an absolute bucket god right now, just fighting in the mid, like goddamn.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sydney's whole game plan kind of revolves around this Tetris going in and making space, and then the rest of the team being able to follow up on it. But Favor at the moment going Singapore's way as they're pushing onto this plat. Lumi, the last one up, trying to just keep them back.
Yeah, and Link here as well, holding this Booyah Bomb to try and just prevent this choke from happening. Actually catches Loose Goose lacking.
And now we're going to see this Kraken come in and try and get the pick on Mars, who's just being an absolute rat. Being so annoying for Singapore to deal with.
Yeah, and the Kraken is unable to get the pick. Mars is just too goated for this world.
The Kraken Tamer, look out.
The Kraken Tamer, yeah.
Further.
Unfortunately gets picked up by Loose Goose, but that's a trade, and that's still going to be a pretty good pick for them.
Absolutely. And just playing this mid-fight, both teams trying to play so careful not to overheat or, you know, give up their advantage.
Yeah, Mars going for the initiate here and kind of distracting. We do see that Booyah Bomb coming out and catching two people lacking. This is the start of the first push, and that seems to be Poetry last up. 3 down. Unfortunately,
Sydney has no clams.
No clams. They're gonna have to run around in mid here and just try and sustain their push until backup with more clams is underway. And it seems now that you know, Singapore is actually mounting the defense, and they get all the way down to 39.
39, and they're still holding this space on their plat.
Yeah, Link is being an absolute rat, just kind of chilling and making sure that they can't drop, right? All of
Yeah,
Singapore is kind
absolutely.
of on that spinner, and really Mars and Link are just doing a great job at holding them there.
Yeah, the constant pressure of the Tetras just jumping in. They don't care if they die. They're just there to make space and be
They're
a
just there to
rat.
fuck you up, yeah.
Absolutely,
And
and they've
we do see this blue bomb coming in, so Singapore is a bit grouped up now, and Mars, it's prime time for Mars to go in.
yeah, absolutely.
We do see Azuka getting Lumi picked out alone, and Mars, the Kraken tamer, once again unable to avoid, was tamed by the Kraken this time.
Yeah, Liam on that 96. Interesting
And
pick,
it's
and
a relatively new development as well. If you've been keeping up with the OCE scene, Liam has been a true blue machine player, but now he's swapped off because of recent nerfs and patch. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, and advantage for Singapore at the moment, but actually no, he's pretty much just by himself in mid.
Yeah, it's a bit up in the air right now. Both teams are kind of scrambling to get this mid advantage. Both teams are really trying to they're taking fights. This is kind of the stage where it starts. Liam actually gets a monster pick on
Wow,
Link here. Holy.
that was such a good pick, and now they're setting themselves up for possibly an inkjet to get themselves onto the spinner.
Yeah, we do see Kraken coming in
Oh,
as well from Singapore's side to initiate. Mars once again detracting away from that push, just getting all the attention in the world and just wasting that Kraken. Wow.
yeah, that play by Mars and Lumi just kind of kiting the Kraken out of there was so big, especially as they had the aggressive jet up on their own spinner, just being able to divide the attention so expertly to kind of shut their push down.
Yeah. Singapore here is kind of unable to do anything at all. They're being hard pushed in. They're actually being cornered here by Sydney, and they're forced to use their specials. This is the last minute of the game, so Singapore really has to make a move here if they want. And
Yeah,
you do see
absolutely.
Kima trying to make that attempt, but unfortunately is not able to make it. Liam
Yeah,
here
but
pushing up with the Kraken though, and this could potentially be a push for them. Singapore currently has a pity climb and another power climb, and they are unfortunately unable to score it.
wow. That was so unfortunate. Unable to get the basket open and then not going to
Last
be able
20
to save
seconds,
the
no
ball.
specials on both sides. This is really risky. 3 down coming out from Singapore here. Poetry forced to jump back, and that might be game.
That might be game. They have 10 seconds to form a power
10
clan.
seconds
I
to make a
don't know if
power.
they're going
They
to be
have
able to
an
do it.
additional 30 provided by that overtime. But they really have to watch their steps here. They have to play absolutely perfectly. Poetry goes down, taking the power climb with him. And that might be game.
There's still the dying
There's
chance.
still a little bit of time, but the hope is quickly fading. Reef Slider
Oh my
takes out Liam,
goodness.
cleans up Loose Goose. Mars is
Wow.
too goaded for this world, and that's the
Wow.
first game going to Sydney.
Yeah,
Holy.
they just clean them up at the end. They're just surrounding from all angles. There was not much that Singapore could do at the end there. That is so unfortunate. I think if Goose was able to get that power climb in, that push could have looked completely different for Singapore.
Bro, call Mars a Kanmun Go, bro, she just she just cleaned up the whole place like the janitor, bro. Holy shit.
Oh my goodness. But no, an excellent showing from Sydney. They really want this win. They want to make it to the finals, so that they get the chance to get their revenge on Manila, who they just barely lost to in round 1 in a game 7.
So, what do you think we might actually see a counterpick from this time? So, unlike last game, we actually do have more of an aggressive team this time. So, what do you counterpick?
I'd be interested to see. I do know there's a few good carbon maps in this week's counterpicks, so I'm interested to see if Singapore will opt for something that's more favored for Goose, or if they're just going to look for something more general that they feel comfortable on. I think this team very flexible. Like a lot of the sets that they've won in the past have been on their enemy team's counter picks. Like they don't really care.
Yeah, Singapore is really strong, and they can show up. They can pull up on your ass when they need to.
Absolutely.
So we do actually see Rainmaker Eeltail come from Singapore here. What are you thinking, Michael?
Rainmaker, what map? Sorry, Eeltail.
Eeltail. It's a hallway map. Yeah.
It is a hallway map. Personally, not a big fan.
Personally, yeah, I gotta agree.
Do I think it is a good pick for Singapore? Absolutely. I think the crowded nature of that map will be really good for Carbon Roller and just for Singapore's aggression in general. That being said, could go both ways with the Tetra coming out from Mars and Sydney's equally as aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, I do think that this time, since we do have Kodge, who is very adaptable, especially on such a clans mode. She can play Viper, she can play Stamper, she can play Ballpoint. So that gives Sydney a lot of options here to basically do what they feel is best for this map. And Rainmaker Eeltail Alley is really competitive, right? There are two routes, and they're really, really hard to fight for. So.
Absolutely. We got some Frostbites in the chat, but we're getting into game number 2. Rainmaker Eeltail.
Yep.
Will we see Singapore be able to tie up the score on their counter pick? Or will we see Sydney run away with the game again? Same comp coming out. Got a Link on the buck this time.
Do you know that I think both teams kind of roughly equal paint here. We do have a Tacticooler who have Try coming out, but it's a bit less effective at spamming Tacticooler than Ensao.
Yeah, that being said though, the Try will be able to dish out crazy amounts of damage and be able to trade quite consistently. Which might be able to shut down the aggression that Mars on the Tetris is looking for.
Yeah, so we do see Kodge actually going down, and it's 3v3 from both teams now. Now, it really depends which team kind of picks up the Rainmaker first and gets their first push going. As it can really snowball on this map, right? We kind of have this insane neutral game right now coming from both teams. But Loose Goose Sharking manages to take out the Carbon.
Wow.
Manages to take 3. Holy. Loose Goose having to push up now and leaving Link on his own to fight the rest of the team. Mars jumping in, getting a pick, and right now the teams are split. Liam is kind of chilling in mid. Loose Goose once again getting Kodge off guard and just waiting for Lumi.
Yeah, Loose Goose right now just being an absolute nuisance. They finally get rid of him, but not without Mars jumping in and getting one.
Yeah.
Gonna go back to a neutral position, I believe.
Yeah, so Singapore here is going to be trying to make their first push here, and it seems like they are able to get the checkpoint, and that's huge.
Wow. Lumi just running it down. He said, don't care, I'm getting this checkpoint.
Don't care, I'm gone, bro. Yeah. And now Singapore really has to play to fight through Sydney's defenses here. Man, I'm getting tripped up by the S's. Goddamn.
The alliteration too strong. Puma going to be able to...
Puma trying to get that... Trying to replicate Lumi's success, but is unfortunately unable. And Loose Goose being a rat still, just kind of hanging around in mid, and unfortunately gets picked up by Link.
Yeah, unfortunately Goose was in a very bad situation. 3 of his team down. Not much he could have done to survive there. But Sydney immediately striking back with this counter push. They're going to be able to get more points off of this, all the way to 30.
Yeah, 30. We did see that Crab kind of pop to get it, but this also means that I think Sydney actually has a bit more resources this time. We do see a Tiger actually getting popped from Singapore's side, and yeah, specials are coming out. This could be the start of an initiation. It's 3 down. Mars just being an absolute rat, taking the Rainmaker, just stalling out that push.
That stall is huge. It's going to allow pretty much all of Sydney to come back in and get time to build their specials to defend this counter push.
Yeah, basically. Now Sydney, Singapore has to fight through and actually manage to get this checkpoint, which Sydney has already done. And it seems like, Singapore is really not going to be able to get that checkpoint without a fight. Mars just kind of skirmishing and getting that Rainmaker and leaving Loose Goose to be the last up in their base.
Wow, and again, Lumi just ignoring all the fighting that's happening on Sydney's side.
He won
And
the
just stalling the
IDGAF
Rainmaker.
war. He won the IDGAF war.
Yeah, this is definitely
Yeah.
within reach for Singapore if they're able to break this check soon.
Yeah, last
Really get
1
something
minute
going.
30 of the game as well. Singapore kind
Absolutely.
of needs to make a move here, or else they might be just stalled out by, Singapore's Sydney's general rat playstyle, just being kind of a nuisance everywhere. We do see Link
Find
actually
anything.
kind of flank here, and he gets a pick on Poetry. This could be the end of Singapore's push. They are 2 down, and it's 3 down now, leaving Loose Goose to be the last up, but you can never underestimate him. You never know what he might do.
Wow.
Pulls out Azuka, and unfortunately not able to get any picks, leaving Singapore to be locked out of mid. Mid control's now in the hands of Sydney, right? And with the last 40-ish seconds, it's
There's
gonna be
still
kinda
time.
tight for them. Yeah.
They're gonna have to pull out a huge push though and really get the ball rolling like right now. Unfortunately,
not to
going down on
mention,
the right side.
Sydney also has that inkjet coming up from Kodge, which can actually slow down any pushes here, right? Singapore has no specials on the board. Last 20 seconds now, 2 down. They really have to come back quick, win this pop, and really pull out a god play here for this
Yeah, they're
win to
gonna have to
happen.
get something started right now. They're gonna have to grab the Rainmaker within the next 5 seconds.
Sydney too strong though, and it's just not happening. Immediately gets shut down the moment they pick up the Rainmaker.
Wow.
Sydney just too strong on that aggression game, and that seals the deal for them.
Yeah, and I think one of the highlights of that game was just some of the defensive plays that came out from Sydney as well. Like, just even Mars just stalling the Rainmaker just to give like even more time for her team to come back and build specials was really nice to see.
Yeah, that was a really interesting game. So
She needs high
now
chung
with that counter pick out, what do you think is gonna come out this time from Singapore?
I think they might have to play something where Cooler is not as strong, because Sydney really relies on that Cooler to get a lot of their aggression going and, you know, minimizing any mistakes by just having those instant respawns. So I'm curious to see if they opt for maybe zones or something a bit slower.
Yeah, maybe you can see Mako might come out perhaps because, Carbon Roller.
Yeah, definitely, actually,
decent
yeah.
for it, right? Also, yeah, you know how you mentioned, Sydney relies on the cooler a lot. I think that's an excellent point to mention, right? Sydney's whole playstyle kind of just generally relies on being hyper aggressive, and having cooler, they don't have to worry about dying. If they die, they still have special. Not gotta worry about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have been called the Sydney Sodas, bro. Goddamn.
Yeah, especially the way they'd be playing with that Cooler. I think either last week or the week before, we saw Lumi pull out the 11 tacticals or something crazy like that.
Yeah, he
This guy's just
single-handedly
spamming it.
revolutionized Tacticooler in Frostbite. Like, holy shit, man.
Absolutely, a trailblazer for what we see most teams opting to run now, just in general competitive.
He's the load.
He's a load.
Load.
But no, I would love to see Mako zones. I think that's an excellent carbon map. And
Yeah, I agree with this.
I think it'll suit Singapore's style more. But we'll just have to see what they end up picking. I wouldn't be surprised if they also went to TC Undertow.
TC Undertow would be very good for them as well, considering they have the carbon. And yeah, TC Undertow in general is a very shark map. It's one of the maps where you'd actually favor to play Gal, Carbon, such maps like picks like that, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
It would definitely work out in their favor, I feel. It seems they're picking Zones Wahoo. It's a Zones map, but not the one we expected.
I think this is still a good pick for them. I think it's very much in their favor to go to zones. I'm interested to see how they will adapt to Sydney's
Yeah, it seems like
very aggressive playstyle.
they have counter picks up right now as well. Not counter picks, they have subs. So yeah, we'll have to see who they sub in. I do feel that this might be one of those maps where we actually see possibly MGJ come out. With that Kraken, it just kind of allows them to push up onto the plat, be an annoyance, and it really breaks through kind of that wall. We do see Ardino coming through from Singapore, the demon, the specimen, the machine himself.
Ardino and Emichu, I believe, both subbing in for the side of Singapore. And we will be seeing a sub come in for Sydney. You might be right. It might be MGJ. The Kraken mastermind himself.
So we actually do see Pizzazz and MGJ coming in place of Mars and Kaj. I do think that this is because, zones, they kind of want a bit less aggressive. They need a bit more controlled aggression, right? Tetras, although are really good, I'd say you might want to prefer some other picks, like perhaps T-Tech, stuff like that. Right?
Absolutely. And, it's a bit unfortunate that we're getting Coach subbed out. We won't be seeing any leader action on zones.
The K
I'm
leader.
very sad.
The Cleater.
The Cleater.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah. Oh, actually, Mars is staying in. All right. Well, anyway. So, what do you think of this map? The general play style of maybe Singapore, since they're the one that's pressured this time.
I think with their roster switches as well, we're probably going to see Emichu play that more skirmisher role, be able to set up Ardino and Goose, who will be the main aggressive duo for Singapore, and then just having Poetry likely on the heavy or on the ballpoint, just to be able to kind of hold the team together. Immediately getting into this third match.
Yeah, immediately getting into this game. Let's head into it in the sky now.
Let's see if Singapore can get themselves on the board.
Fun. Okay. Well, we do actually we do see the FP coming out with 96, and we do see Ardino playing his specialty weapon.
Yes, and no Carbon opting for the Zap. They believe that they're just gonna they're gonna meet Sydney at the pace that they're playing at.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely gonna be one way. There has to be one way they have to do it, right? If they are getting outpaced, they really need to step up their pace game.
That's true. If you can't beat him, join him, I guess.
Yeah, on God. We do see Mars skirmishing and does get a few picks, does get 2 picks here.
Wow.
And now it's just being an annoyance. Gets picked up by Ardino, unfortunately. But we do have that Kraken coming in just to push him back. Ardino is kind of left out alone, away from the rest of his team. But knowing him, he could probably pull it out.
Absolutely, you cannot let your eyes off of this guy, otherwise he will come in and destroy your team.
Yeah,
but for the minute now, they're holding on to their specials, using pretty much all of them.
Bit of a neutral game, gets 2 Ardino and Poetry going down to those tri-strikes, and it's just Emichu fighting MGJ here. Loose Goose as well going down, Emichu going in for the flank, but is getting met by some resistance. We do see Link cleaning up that kill, and Mars still playing forward, right? She's going in on the plat, gets a single pick, but that's so much. That's still so much for Sydney here, right? It falls out there with so much, and it really leaves the rest of the team out. We do see Ardino as well. 3 going down, and that's the game.
That's the game.
Sydney just really proving that, they can't. Not even Singapore can join them. Singapore can't even join them. They're just that far ahead.
Yeah, it's very clear that Sydney really wants this win, and rightfully so. They've, half the teams in this league, they're sitting on that 3-2, or that 2-2 win rate, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to get that last win to secure their spot in the finals. If you're Singapore, pressure's on to get yourselves on the board. You cannot lose from this point on if you want to maintain your chance of winning.
Yeah, sure. So we do see in chat some Sydney hype, Sydney sweep. I gotta agree with this, right?
No,
So
I want to see the Singapore reverse sweep.
oh yeah. Mhm. So what do you reckon is gonna come out this time? So they've already kind of exhausted two, three of their good picks, right?
Yeah.
They could opt for Mako Mart zones, but I feel like there might be a bit of a conflict in their comp if they decide to run Carbon and also
Yeah.
Squeezer at the same time, because that might be a bit of a lack of paint. I
Yeah,
do feel like
absolutely.
another possible thing for them is CB Scorch Gorge. CB Scorch Gorge could be really interesting for them, especially if they run a pretty aggressive comp as well and have Ardino on. It could definitely be a downright one-sided pick because Ardino really holds that ramp area really well. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think at this point in the set, they do just have to pick whatever they believe will be their best chance at winning. I do think one of the big misplays for them in the last game was they were holding on to all their specials for just too long. They used them all at the same time and unfortunately went down, just not really getting much value out of them and
They
unable
let
to
Mars
retake.
kind of just walk in for free as well.
Yeah.
Mars went in when they were popping strikes, when they were popping special, and that kind of did, it wasted their special use. And Mars kind of also just got free picks. Mars was playing really well that game. She was doing Tetra things on their flat every time they tried to contest zone. She was like, not happening. Fuck you. And then she just killed some of them.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, if Singapore is going to be able to clutch this out, they do have to really be able to shut down this Tetras who, Mars goes in, gets the attention of so many of Singapore's members, and then the rest of Sydney just gets to follow up for free.
So, yeah, we do see from teams are still deciding. I think they are taking a really long time to decide, which is very fair. It's the last pick. You're at match point. You really got to make this counter pick count because if you're going to reverse sweep this one, it's going to be literally Sydney's picks for the rest of the thing. They're going to have to claw back 3 break points, which is kind of insane. And that's very difficult to do, especially when you're under this match point pressure, right? Clawing back 3 picks is super difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen teams in this similar position with their backs to the wall before and be able to clutch it out. So I do believe that I believe Singapore's been in very high stakes situations previously in the league. They've had a game 7 with Manila. They've had some close sets as well. So it really does. It really will depend how they're able to pick it up.
I definitely do agree with that one.
But we do just have to wait. Bruh.
Yeah. Do you think we might actually see any potential subs? Because,
I think... I think we will be seeing some subs.
We do see TC Inkblock coming out from both teams here. This could be if they are able to get Loose Goose onto that bats area, right? If they're able to do the aforementioned rats on bats strategy.
Rats on bats. If
they are able to do rats on bats, it's going to be really difficult for them to come back at all.
It's such a crucial part of the map to have control over when you're pushing. So it'll be interesting to see if both teams are able to get their rats onto the bats.
It's true. On one side we do have Link. We do have Link on the side of Sydney, who is kind of their rat, right? Playing Slosher, it's really easy to ledge camp. But on the side of Singapore, we also do have Loose Goose, who seems to be subbing out.
Hang on,
yo! Are they cooking a new strategy?
Yes, I mean, if you're Singapore, you know, you've had 3 really tough matches where Sydney has been quite dominant. It might be time to switch
We
up the
do see
roster.
Loose Goose get subbed out here for Puma instead.
Wow.
They are really gonna have to depend on Ardino here to kind of fulfill the role of Slayer that Loose Goose was doing in the previous game.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Liam opts to stay on the 96 Gal Deco.
96,
I
yeah.
don't think he will, especially with Ardino on the squeezer, most likely.
We might actually
Not a
see
very
him
good
return
pairing.
his roots here. You know, he might have to replay. He might have to play Machine again, and that could definitely also help with the Bats camp.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Because Machine is just so powerful at kind of locking out those ledgers, and instantly we are getting into this game.
Wow. They are ready to go.
They are hyped up. They are going to go in. Well, in what could be potentially the final game here.
Absolutely.
Let's see what's gonna cook. Did you see
Liam opting
Did
for
you
the
see Liam on
Tetras.
the Tetras wanting to challenge Mars? We don't see any tacticals coming out from Singapore here, so it's still Sydney's strategy. Like they
Yeah.
trademarked that shit.
Yeah, and both the Tetras just going to be having an interaction on that right side.
They just gravitated to one another. We do see Mars winning that Tetra fight and leaves Poetry last up. It's just him, and yeah, we saw Lumi trying to get a little bit greedy there. We do see Mars heading up onto the Rats as well. All 4 members. Ooh, we do see multiple specials come out here, and unfortunately, only one dying from that. Now, Sydney going to the second checkpoint. What do we think they're gonna cook here?
I mean, this checkpoint's so important to defend. They cannot let Sydney break it. And they're getting the cleanup. Sydney's so close to breaking that check, but not able to get it.
I just want to say that Sydney was 1 tick off of getting that checkpoint. That is actually insane. We do see Link popping a Booyah Bomb here just to displace and kind of counteract the effect of those strikes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of trading specials at the moment. Mars is going to go down, and Singapore in a very good position at the moment to try and get something started.
Yeah, this could be a push. It's 3 down from. It is 3 down from Singapore, from Sydney at the moment, and yeah, they're really gonna have to defend here. We do see tri-strikes coming out here to especially extend the push and kind of just make it a bit harder for Sydney to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're going to see the struggle to get up onto their plat and into the bats. If Singapore's able to, Liam trying to get up there now could be huge for Singapore.
Yeah, Liam unfortunately going down, and now Singapore is at that fabled second checkpoint. Link, though, popping a Booyah Bomb just to kind of crush any hopes that they could clear that, and it's a delayed 3 down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Liam back on the field now, but it's just Poetry and Liam left back. They really have to play hard for that second checkpoint, especially considering how Sydney kind of basically pushed to the end of that one. They essentially need to clear it in order to get a lead, and that's going to be...
Yeah, absolutely. Clearing that checkpoint will be crucial to winning this game for both teams, as it's such a hard check to break.
Yeah, Mars here just doing actually really good skirmishing, drawing attention away. MGJ getting that Kraken out, and just kind of being a nuisance now for that push. They're making sure that, you know, Singapore has to pay attention. Unfortunately, it does not get any picks. Singapore in a really good position now. They have 3 specials up. They have a Jet, which has just been popped. And
yeah, the Jet's going to come in. They need to be able to take some space off of it, but Liam unfortunately going down.
Yeah, the Jet seemed seems kind of wasted now. Ardino is still holding on to his tri-strikes. Not tri-strikes, Trizuka. He does pop it and gets a kill, but unfortunately also goes down. It's 3 down from... Now it's Sydney's turn to push. They really flipped the table on them.
Absolutely.
Got the turntables, man. Got them.
You know, and as the clock slowly counts down, you know, Singapore needs to find something. They need to clear their plat immediately and get back into mid to get something started.
Yeah, all Sydney really needs to do right now is just kind of be a nuisance. They don't need to secure that second checkpoint, right? All they need to do is kind of just like slowly poke. You know, it's really annoying when you poke at other people, right? Oh, yeah. So that's really all Sydney needs to do right now. If Link can stay alive and kind of just get Booyah Bomb as well, and just hold it for perhaps like the last 30 seconds, that could be it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Shed's coming out. They don't see Mars, who is sharking on their right side.
Yeah, Mars gets a clean pick on Poetry and is now going for a flank. We do see MGJ pulling out the Kraken just to kind of scatter the rest, and they do get Ardino leaving 2 up. Liam diffing Mars, and it's now Puma, Poetry, and Liam chilling in mid. Those 3 have to take that plat. We do see Tri-Strikes coming out, though that might be a bit early for this push, right? It seems like Singapore is not really in the position to make that push yet.
Yeah, but I mean, 20 seconds left on the clock.
20 seconds.
It's getting tough, you know.
Link
Link's gonna
is
be holding
that Booyah Bomb, and we do see Lumi popping a Tacticooler just to make sure that Link will hold that Booyah Bomb. It's the last 8 seconds now. They have to make a move now. They have to get their picks. If not, Link is just going to end the game. Nice and easy. Pops the Booyah Bomb, and he aims for tower, and that's it. That is a Sydney Soda sweep. Holy shit.
The Sydney Soda Cyclones.
Sydney Soda Cyclones. Yeah.
An incredible 4-0 sweep onto Singapore. Wow. It's just so unlucky they were able to get such a good push in the beginning of the game. Singapore was just unable to bring it back.
Sydney really put them through the washing machine. Goddamn, bro. They cycled them. They hit them with the cycle.
Hit him with the Cyclone. Sheesh.
Yeah, sheesh. Well, that's it. Yeah, that was an amazing game coming out from Sydney there. Actually, just playing at their peak and showing why they are the best in the biz with the Tacticooler Riz.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can get them in here for a quick chat.
Hello.
Yo.
I almost broke my teammate's eardrums just because I popped off too hard.
Let's go, baby.
Yo, welcome Sydney.
Oh, welcome.
Hey guys.
Hey,
War?
So Sydney, how are you feeling as this set win has basically, I guess, confirmed your place in the finals?
Hell yeah. 3 floors in a row, bro. The best.
That was crazy. You guys came into this league with kind of expectation that like the other teams were better. So versus then to now, what are you guys thinking?
Feels good.
Just got better. We just diffed.
We just diffed.
But sure. Yeah, we just diffed.
Feels like we work really well together, to be honest.
Yeah, you guys, your synergy that game was crazy, man. You know, you had
really
Mars,
good at screaming at each other.
You had Mars flanking a few times and just challenging that Singapore head on. I think you're goated. Yeah.
Real.
Would you, Micah? Would you like to ask some questions?
I mean, I guess between now and the finals, you know, like, what's the plan? How are you guys gonna overcome your demons of Manila and Melbourne?
Scrim.
All it takes is practice.
Absolutely. Now, who do you think your biggest competition is out of the two of those?
Melbourne, realistically.
Melbourne, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Versus Manila, what do you guys? How are you guys matching up against Manila? Are you planning on smashing them into the ground? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yo.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. I look forward to seeing that.
I came in for blood against Singapore and we got the 4-0. I think we can do that again from Manila.
I'll post a clip
yeah.
of Lumi screaming later.
Ooh,
We're in for blood. That's all I'm saying.
damn.
Well, you know, you guys just beat one of the teams which did beat Manila, so, you know.
Exactly.
It's looking good.
Hell yeah! All right. Well, that was an insane set. I didn't even tie goated. Look.
Yeah, good job, fellas. Any
Yeah,
final
good job,
words before we
guys.
wrap this up?
Any final words?
Sydney strong.
Sydney strong. We've never
Sydney
said that
strong.
Sydney strong. The
Change-
God Killers.
change the
coming from
slogan.
Melbourne.
Change the slogan. It's Sydney Soda now.
Sydney sweep and Sydney strong. That's all we're gonna say.
Oh yeah. Well, Melbourne, if you're watching the stream, you better watch out. Sydney is coming for your toes. You are not safe. Yeah. So, any last words before we wrap up?
We did our last words. Sydney strong. Sydney strong.
Sydney
Oh,
strong.
yeah.
Fighting.
Sydney would sweep.
Well, for the people in chat, do tune in next week. We'll be starting the first set of matches for finals top 3 between Manila Blizzard and City Cyclones. Do tune in.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Yeah.